everybody to the Realty podcast. Obviously subscribe, like, follow the channel. This is for everybody that may be already deep into entrepreneurship or at the edge of jumping in, or maybe you've just been wondering, like, what would it be like if I ever started my own thing, right? So Anna is going to unveil all the secrets, and she may just say exactly what you need to hear, right?
100%. I'm really excited to share, my journey with the viewers here. I see that we have more subscribers, so that's good. That's encouraging. And of course, if you're relating with this topic and you love it, let us know in the comments. That's the only way that we know that we are actually bringing you value, and that's all we want to do.
100%. So last week, we really got into about Anna's journey, like from a new immigrant here in Canada all the way to where she is now, which is CEO, broker owner, team leader, coach, public speaker, podcast host, all of it. Yeah. Which sounds like it's been quite the journey, and we're excited to jump into the second half. Mm-hmm. But you've had some exciting news.
Yes, so I'm really excited about this new journey. It seems like, I don't know how it feels for you, but, people that get to know me, they just see like, oh my gosh, there's always something else happening that is exciting, new, and, it's just like we're moving forward. And that is, we are now on radio, which is really exciting. So if you're in Ottawa, you will hear us on radio. And it's always been something that the reason why we're doing it is because I feel that more and more people need to know about us. They need to know that there is an alternative. And, there's enough, the way I look at it is like there is enough business to go around. It's always good to bring in different options for the consumers, and, competition is good in any industry. So we're really excited. We went to the radio channel the other day together, and it was really, really awesome. We went to the studio at CTV, iHeart Studio here in Ottawa. So thank you so much for your hospitality if you're listening. And we're really excited to be able to bring out more reach out there and, bring more value.
Yeah. That experience was amazing. They made us more than comfortable. I even just felt like an honored guest to be there. They were so great. Yeah. So that, if nobody knows, it's not easy to get on radio. I mean, I don't think a lot of people in our industry, will ever get on the radio. And I know that's something that you've always wanted. Mm-hmm. So does that feel like, I don't know.
It honestly feels like an achievement. So I know, from the outside, whenever I would see people on radio or doing the things that I get to do now, it seems like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. That's so cool. And it is all of that, right? But when you're doing it and you're there, it's a lot of, it's a lot of work to be able to do all of that. So I think, just keep being consistent is very important, and understand that, I heard a quote one time, and you've probably seen it as well, is that failure slaps you in public and success hugs you in private. And that's usually the case. It's not like somebody's coming in and it's not what you expect, but it is a good feeling. It's a good, that you've achieved something. Mm-hmm. It's so fulfilling that you feel like, you know what? Wow, I had a vision, I had a dream, and now I'm able to do it. And there are times where I question myself too, just like anybody else, where I wouldn't say question myself, but it's just it has that surreal effect where you're like, wow, is this really like, is this where we are now? You know, if I were to describe it, it's like if you ever go hiking, right? You go hiking, you're trying to make it to the top of the mountain, and then sometimes halfway you're like, oh, I don't want to do it anymore. I just want to go back. And you just have to keep pushing because there is no going back. Like you're already halfway there. Just keep going. You know, it's just as hard, probably harder to go up than to go down, right? But you just got to keep doing. And that's really how I feel at times. Yeah.
Yeah. And now that you have gotten here, and I know this is not where you want your legacy to end. I know there's so much more to achieve, but on this growth, what was a core belief that you had about entrepreneurship or about success that you had to leave behind in order to get to where you are now?
Yeah. I think a lot of what it is that we do as entrepreneurs is, first and foremost, we have to believe in ourselves, right? Having the support is important and real support, because there are people that be like, oh yeah, you know what? I'm going to be there. I'm going to support you. But when you really, really need them, they're nowhere to be found. And the real support is like sometimes people that are the very closest to you. And no matter what happens, whether you succeed or fail, they're going to be there. They're going to be your cheerleaders no matter what. On your worst days, they're going to be there for you. On your best days, they are going to sit back and just watch you enjoy that moment. Those are the real people that are, that are always going to be there throughout your career and your support. I think it's super important to have the right support system. And, at the end of the day, you have to understand that why are you climbing? Like, what is that reason? It's got to be very, very well-defined, that reason, why you're climbing this mountain. Is it because of just ego? Because if it's just that, at one point, you're going to give up. Mm-hmm. It's got to be something that is going to make a difference in somebody else's life, is how I see it. And I see that it is going to make a difference in people's lives directly, the people that we actually help, and that is what keeps me going, the extra hours, many, many hours still to this day. That's why I say, like, I don't see that necessarily at the top of the mountain, but I do feel like, we have climbed up. And now, even though it's hard, we just got to keep going. And we got to do that because of my belief of what it is that is going to happen at the end of all of this, which is the lives that are going to be changed. Mm-hmm. Being able to be the person that will directly impact these people's lives for the better. And that is the only, at times I feel like that's their only saving line, maybe. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so that is what makes me want to do what I do, and I'm excited about it.
So you kind of touched upon it in your answer there. You're like, that's what keeps me going in the long hours. Like, what are the personal sacrifices that you've made that people maybe don't see?
Mm-hmm. Well, the sacrifices that I've made is I truly, first off, I enjoy what I do. But at the same time, I always look at it from the perspective of just give it a little bit more, bit more. Don't always look at like, you know what? Like, I just want to be done. I just want to like run away from it. I try to make it at everything I do. I try to make sure that, there's nothing left undone by me that it could actually, like, that I could have done to make that a possibility, a reality for someone else. I think another quote I heard is that if you want to be successful at what you do, you just have to solve other people's problems. And, when people come to us, whether it be like clients, buyers, sellers, or even like team members or what have you, or even, I know that I'm inspiring other people, like maybe not necessarily in the team, maybe they're from the outside, they're watching us. I can't tell you how many people are like that as well. How many people come to us and say, oh my gosh, I've seen you do this and that, and I want to be like you, and I want to do that. And it's so awesome because there were people like that did that for me, that I felt like, oh my gosh, I am now that person, which is really, really awesome to see. And those people are relying on me. So to answer your question, yes, it requires a lot of discipline. It requires a lot of consistency. It requires a lot of mental toughness, because there's always going to be people, there's always going to be naysayers. And I've talked to so many people over the years. Doesn't matter which industry you are, what kind of work you do, doesn't matter. You could be working whatever, hourly wage, volunteer work. You're still going to have people that are going to be unhappy with what you do,
Yeah.
So that's really, really what needs to happen at times, right? Can you hear yourself? I'm not sure if the audio is very good.
I can hear myself.
Can you say something now?
Hello.
Okay. I
Okay,
feel like
you're good?
The audio is a little bit better now. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So, now, I guess after you're climbing, I think that your idea of success must have definitely changed from the beginning of this journey all the way up till right now. Maybe it's going to continue to change. Mm-hmm. But what is your idea of success now?
My idea of success is, it's to be able to touch more lives. It's to be able to multiply what we've already achieved, right? Mm-hmm. Without, losing the essence of what it is that we do, right? So meaning the quality. I don't want the quality to be at risk of us multiplying, Yeah. So as you know, I'm very, very selective. Over the years, I've become even more selective as to who should be part of our organization, part of our team. Super important. I've realized that culture is very important in an organization. And culture starts with the person that is leading, meaning that they have to lead by example. I won't necessarily say maybe it was the other people's fault, because really I'm also going through growth, and I'm realizing who would be best fit and in alignment with what it is that we're trying to achieve. So over the years, I've realized that, for me, success to me is being able to multiply what we have by a lot and be able to help even more people. Because I think what we're doing is really special, really awesome. I was thinking to myself driving here today, I knew of a guy that was working at this brokerage, the previous brokerage I was with, where I was an agent way before I met you. And this guy, at one point, he was a broker owner. And then he came in to be an agent. So he closed down his office, he became an agent, and he billed out, he then became the broker of record of that brokerage. And I remember, whenever he was being introduced, it's like, okay, yeah, this and that is, used to be an owner, and he shut down his brokerage, and he did this. And, I was thinking to myself, I said, oh, that's interesting, First off, kudos to him to realize, hey, you know what, that gig is not for me. This is what I want to do, and I feel like I'll excel better at this. Because it takes a lot for somebody to say, yeah, this ain't working out, so I got to just walk away from it. It does,
Mm-hmm.
So being able to identify that this ain't for me is a big thing. But the other piece to it is also you got to look at it from the perspective of, okay, do I just give up? Do I just go and, follow somebody else's vision? Because now I'm going to give up on the vision that I thought is going to happen, that is going to that can happen. You know, and the reason why I was thinking about this is because, you know, I do sometimes, you know, like the team brings about these different candidates for me to get in touch with on you know, weekly basis, I should say. Yeah. Because of all the other things I'm dealing with. But so I'm like, okay, and I'm having these conversations. And, you know, sometimes you hear me having these conversations because you're like right here in the office. So, and it's kind of funny-ish because you see that these agents generally would benefit so much from like joining us, you know, do like you don't have to suffer out there, yet they still prefer to suffer out there doing very minimal deals. These are people that do like maybe like less than like the number of transactions they do fits inside one hand, right? So it just begs the question, like, why are you doing that? Like, why? Is the ego? And then it makes me think, as someone who wants to try something, right? It makes me think like, is this even worth it? Like, I'm trying to save the industry, the people in the industry. Like, is it worth it? Or should I just like back down and just go do what that other guy did, you know? So that's where the thought process was. I'm like, do I really, really believe in what it is that I want to do? But that's what it is, you know, like, you know, going back to your first question where you're like, what makes you want to push through the days that you feel like, you know, this ain't going well, like this success is not, it's like, you know what, you got to really believe in like what your vision is, and that it is going to make a difference in people's lives all around. Yeah. So anyways, just wanted to share that. Yeah. While I fix my hair here.
Yeah. That was going to be definitely like one of my questions. Like, have you had a moment where you questioned everything? Because I know like some people, they get to the top and they just say like, oh, I've always known. It's kind of like when you go to a wedding and they're like, I know from the moment I saw her. And then you think about your relationship is like, there's a lot of times I really didn't know. And you're like, is that honestly true? Because then it makes everybody that's going through the journey go, well, maybe this ain't it then. If they always knew, if they always had the vision, if it never was shaky. So I kind of feel like here, it does a lot of benefit talking about like, yeah, I did question it all. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of days I looked back and wondered like, how far would the fall be if I quit right now?
I think you're like right on, you're hitting it in the nail 100%. The reason why is like, I'm going to ask like anybody like you, like, I mean, have you ever had an opportunity where like you were in a situation, in a, let's say even a relationship, right? You have a relationship. Are there not days where you're like, is it even worth continuing going this route? And I'm not saying relationship necessarily with your spouse or partner. I'm saying like, even with like clients, you know what I mean? Yes. Like, is it worth
Yes. I like, identify.
And then it's true though, right? Yeah. It's like there are days you're like, am I like what am I doing here?
Can I hold on?
And that's legit. That's what it is, you know. That's legit what it is. Like moving on with any kind of like, you know, business. That's what it is, you know. And it's always like, let me tell you, the grass always looks greener on the other side. It always does. Doesn't matter what it is. You always are like, you know what? But they can do it so much better. They're doing it. Da da da. It's like at the end of the day, really, really. You know, you gotta look at that. Anyways,
we've talked about it too before, like how you always feel like you're in the wrong business. Mm-hmm. Like you're sitting here like, like you thought that being in real estate, like you hacked something. You're like, oh, that's the business to be in. They're making all this money. Commissions, like you watch Selling Sunset. Commission is $200,000 somehow. And then you're here and you're like, actually, maybe I should be a mortgage broker. Those people like sometimes you don't even have to meet in person. Like, there's no showings. Or I'm like, maybe I should be an inspector, you know? Or maybe I should be an appraiser. Or maybe I should be an insurance. Like, those people, they really got it going on. Until you talk to one of them and they're like, it's hard over here too. It's hard over here. So,
it's funny because yesterday I was in an inspection and a water test. And I was looking at the water guy. I was like, you got a really good gig going on there because there's only two of you guys in the industry. And, you know, you're just keeping it quiet, you know, you do your thing, whatever, run the water and stuff like that.
You're in and out.
Yeah, you're in and out. And that's it. You know, you get paid right there too. You know, no matter what, you get paid.
Yeah.
So I was having those thoughts yesterday. I'm like, you know what? There's the water people. There's the inspector. You know, it doesn't matter. Like, inspectors can find issues. And it's like, okay, well, in fact, if I do find issues that's no good, then you're going to walk away from this home and going to go to another home and you're going to call me again. And now I get two businesses from you. So, you know, I'll tell you, a lot of the times, side note, you know, buyers, and you know what, I don't blame them because when I was a buyer, I felt the same way. I'm like, you know, buyers are like, why would I get an inspector? I've never had an inspector find anything anyways. Like, it's just a waste of money. Or like, you know, the inspector's just telling us home is good, even though it's got issues. And, you know, the realtor is just hiring somebody that just wants to make the deal happen. And you know what? There may be some truth to that. You know, we can't say in absolute that 100% no, that doesn't happen, blah, 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 right? But at the end of the day, for me, an inspection is really we want to hire the best because it's going to reflect on us, their level of service. Mm-hmm. And because we've been doing it for a while, we've had a lot of people work with those inspectors, and we know over the years if they were able to do a good job or not. Mm-hmm. And you know firsthand, if they're not good, we go ahead and put them to the side. But that's, you know, again, I went into the real estate world. We're
in entrepreneurship, but like, I think that does speak to something like entrepreneurial because there's a lot of opportunities that you can ditch your values to make a quick buck, but I just know that it never works out. The truth always comes. Yeah, and you won't stay in the business long. You know, you really won't stay in the business long because at the end of the day, the business world is a small community, you know. The world is so small. Yeah. And I feel like even if there's a population of, like, Ottawa, like, there's a population of over 1 million, I'm always running the same people. How is that? Like, how is it even possible? But that's kind of like your vibe attracts your tribe. And I think that you've had many experiences with that in team building and the culture. Big time. Have you found that to be so true? I found that to be so, so true. And it's, you know, I think figuring out the very first people is the hardest. And, you know, I went through a lot of people, as you know, to figure out who would be best suited in our team environment. Of course, I've been working since the age of 14. I was in management since unwillingly. Okay, it wasn't a promo or something like that. I didn't get a promotion. It was like unwillingly I had to jump into management at the age of 19. And it was tough because when everybody else like couldn't, failed or whatever, everything would, like, the responsibility would fall on Anna. And who cares if Anna had school or didn't eat? Anna had to get stuff done. So I think that, like, for me, it's important to, I lost the track of my thoughts. Sorry. What are we talking about? About your vibe? Yeah, your tribe. Yes. So, okay, good. So, even though I did work with a lot of people, and you would think, like, I knew who would be best suited working with. Once you start your own organization,
that's when, or your team, that's when you realize, okay, what is it? Like, what am I looking for? You know, it takes a while for you to figure yourself. Therefore, you can figure out who would be the best to be working with you, because you don't know your style as well, right? If you're in management, it's one thing because you got somebody else telling you and hiring, and you just got to get along with people. But when you're the one who's dealing with everything, that's when you need to really figure out what your tribe really looks like. And I'll tell you, at this point in time, I know exactly what it is that, you know, who will excel in our environment. Those are people that are, you know, as you know, like, we are looking for people who are humble. You know, they put the ego to the side. They're really there to help people. They want to make sure that, you know, they're not just doing things to do things, to just say, yeah, I did it, but to actually get some kind of result. Okay. The result could be like positive, like, yeah, we were able to get this thing done. Or it could sometimes be like, yeah, we went this way, we tried this, but it didn't necessarily work out. Yeah. So we're not going to do it this way anymore. Right. And we are looking for people who are really want to, like, I still believe in going above and beyond. You know, I still, in this environment, I still believe in like wanting to help people, wanting to provide excellence. You know, I believe in that. As you know, like, in September, I went to the Philippines. One of the reasons why I loved it over there was because of the amazing customer service. Like, I can't even tell you how much I love it. Like, if I could go back, I definitely would go back, just because they are so amazing. Their customer service, outstanding. Like, I've never seen such a thing. Yeah. I was blown away, and I was thinking to myself, why is it in North America, especially after COVID, it's not that, it's almost like people just don't care. It's like, do the minimal, whatever. So but the people here, they are like that. Yeah. They are really, really wanting to provide that customer service, that amazing experience for our customers, for people around here. They're willing to step up any way they can to get the thing done, no matter what, you know. Yeah. Believing in like the teamwork. So yeah, there's a type of people, and it's funny because earlier we had interviews with a group interview, second round, because we do, you know, there's a bunch of them, second round, and we knew right away which candidates were the right individuals and which weren't, which is amazing.
Yeah, I guess you really need the culture as a sifting and sorting mechanism for you to know who's exactly on track with you and who's not. Because if you don't know what your organization is, you're just going to go with who kind of said the right answer. Yeah. Which we know that the wrong people can definitely say the right answer. And I feel like the wrong people always know the right answer, actually. So sometimes you just really have to use your intuition on this. Yes. Just back on what you were saying, how over here, I feel like the defining, like one defining sentence of how people feel about whatever service they provide is like, well, you get what you pay for. Mm-hmm. So there's like all these people offering discount prices and discount services. And yeah, you really do get what you pay for. But here, we're really dedicated to excellence. Yeah. Right? And going that above and beyond. And even yourself, you said not too long ago, you're like, what happened to customers always right? Yeah. What happened to that? Right?
It just went out the door is what happened, unfortunately. You know, people just like, it's like, it really, I saw that shift in the industry where, you know, the customer would call in and it's like, okay, what can we do to help you, blah, 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 blah. Not anymore. It's like, okay, well, go to the next door. I don't care. We didn't charge you much, and da 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 da. And we've got these expenses. And you know what? In reality, I get it. It's true. As a business owner, I get it. There's a lot of expenses. Like, we get all kinds of cuts. Like, not only is there a split between the brokerage and business, but also there's a big split with CRA. There is all kinds of, there's all kinds of splits, the splits with the utilities, splits with this, splits with that.
Yeah.
So I get it, but yeah, there's got to be some kind of like, you got to take care of your people, and that's how people come back to you. And those are the type of people that you got to have that mindset. We got to be in the same mindset to be able to work together.
Yeah.
Right?
Whether that be with somebody that is on your team, like employed by you, or that's a client.
100%.
Right?
100%. I was thinking earlier, we have a bunch of clients we're working with, but there are certain clients, right? Our clients, we like to go above and beyond for them. We love to help them throughout this journey. Okay, we want to give them that amazing experience, right? But it kind of goes both ways too, right? It's like there are clients out there where they get what we're doing. They get that this is work.
Mm-hmm.
This is work. This is not, we love what we do. Yes, we're passionate about it, but this is, at the end of the day, this is work. So they appreciate our input. They don't try to fight us. They want our input, and they're also respectful of the timelines and things like that. And then on the opposite end, there are some that it's like, okay, yeah, it's your job. You know what I mean? And we still try to do that extra, we try to help them. But really, really, they're not our peeps, I don't think. It's like we gotta have some kind of like a mutual respect there. We gotta have that. And I think that is what's missing as well in the society as a whole. And people in the team, they're very respectful of each other. They're very respectful of the clients. They're very respectful of what needs to get done on time, and getting people to the finish line. And anyways, I think that's the other thing, whether it's like people that we're working with in the team or helping as clientele.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a big mistake that people make, is wanting to be everything to everyone and thinking everybody is their ideal client. And truthfully, like, you're just going to burn yourself out if you're just busy working with people that don't see the value in what it is that you do. Mm-hmm. This can be our last question, because I know we're both busy. But what is the hardest decision that you have ever had to make as an entrepreneur?
Wow. The hardest decision, I gotta say, there's all kinds of decisions all the time that are very hard. But the hardest decision is, I would say, to really, really, at times, having to let go of certain people, even though you felt that by letting them go, it would, for the short period of time, it would have a huge impact on the income. But in the long run, it's beneficial because it is going to affect the culture of your organization. So I think that the hardest decisions were that we're having to let go of certain people. People don't understand that, when you are being let go, it's just as hard. That's how I find. Mm-hmm. It's just as hard for me to let someone go as it is for them feeling that, being let go of. Like, it's
Yeah.
tough. It's a very, very tough thing, but you have to come to that decision, and you got to make that decision fast, and got to do it respectfully too. You know, that's the other thing. Like, I think at the core of everything, I think if you're respectful, that's good.
Yeah.
You know, and your heart, like, and I know I made the right decision, because right after that decision's made, immediately I feel this like weight has been lifted off my shoulders, and it's great.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it's so good to have that, you know. Yeah.
Do you feel like over all these years that you've learned to trust your intuition more, and that it's like served you maybe even more than just logic?
Always. I think you have to believe in yourself. You have to really listen to that little voice inside of you. And my intuition's pretty on point. I'm sure you've kind of experienced that. Mm-hmm. You know, whenever it's weird. I don't know why this is, but it's, you know, both you and I, we believe in these things where we believe in, like, you know, we're spiritual that way. And, you know, what you can see and feel physically is just the 5 senses, right? There's all these other things and senses that you have to trust those. And yeah, more and more, I think these things that happen over the years have made me realize that you got to trust that voice. You got to trust that instinct more and more, because it's like proof after proof after proof, right? Mm-hmm. So if you see it happening all the time, you're like, yeah, you know what? I got to trust my instincts. Whether it's people, things we're about to do, it's huge. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I've seen it for sure.
Yeah.
When you're just like, I don't know why, but it doesn't feel right. Or I don't know why, and it feels so right.
Yeah.
You just got to follow that. Well, thank you so much for this inspiring conversation, I'm sure. Like, I've gotten a lot of value out of it, but I know that the people watching too have. Everybody like, subscribe, comment, right? Tune back in.
Oh my gosh, yes. Make sure you put us your questions. You know, what do you want to hear next time? What do you know, if there's any questions you want to ask, like, don't be shy. Happy to help. Like, this is why we're doing it. Now, just maybe like a quick little update about real estate too. The rates dropped. So one of the things that we're noticing is by 0.25, one of the things we're noticing is that there is more activity in the marketplace, which is awesome for end of January. Is not something that you see. So what is it that we're saying to you? We're encouraging you to really, really take advantage of it. I think a couple of weeks ago we were saying the market feels like 2019. Right now it feels like 2020. Even 2021. I was talking to somebody else, 2021. So really, really don't wait on the fence, because, you know, depending on what happens, obviously, in the world and the politics all around the world, but based on what we're seeing, we're definitely seeing movement. And, you know, if you want to know more about it, get in touch with us. We're happy to help. But yeah, we'll be bringing you more stuff. Really excited about our new things. So, like, our website, if you haven't checked it out, our website is really awesome and dynamic, and, you know, you will get a lot of value from that. We have, obviously, the podcast. We're all over social media, so you can reach out to us. And the reason why we're all over is because we want you to reach out to us, have a quicker access to us, because you hear all kinds of news, so reach out to us. We also are on radio, which is really awesome. So I want to say thank you so much for really, really good, well thought out questions. Those were pretty impressive.
I have a lot more. That's it for today.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week.
Thank you to everybody.
Thank you.